Hello and welcome back to the Second Chance Live channel here on YouTube. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to watch this video presentation. My video presentations involve reading of my articles. I create video presentations of my articles to share the information with people who learn through watching and listening. To read the article, I'll put the glasses back on and bring up the article. I want to thank you for your time. Here's the article: Hopes and Dreams After Experiencing a Brain Injury. Below are several quotes that help me to stick with the process of learning to create hopes and dreams after my brain injury. Give the quotes a read and let me know if they help you too by leaving a comment. Thank you. Reality we face after our brain injuries. Following a brain injury, many things seem to change in our lives. What was once familiar becomes foreign to us. What we once were able to do before a brain injury no longer seems possible. As a result, we may begin to question our once held hopes and dreams. In the process, we may find ourselves isolating and giving up on the possibilities of hope and dreams. My experience. For many years, I lived in denial to the impact of my traumatic brain injury that occurred in 1967 when I was 10 years old. Once my external wounds healed and I looked normal, the impact of my traumatic brain injury was also denied by family and friends. Then at the end of 1999, 32 years later, and after going through 2 vocational rehabilitation processes, one in Florida and one in North Carolina, I was told that I was unemployable. At the end of 1999, my 3rd application for SSDI was approved, and I began the process of living on a monthly disability check. Once the 3rd application for SSDI was approved, I found myself in a place of frustration. A place of frustration because although I had worked diligently, both academically and vocationally, to find my place in society as a productive citizen, none of my efforts proved to be enough. Being unemployable and disabled left me feeling inadequate, undesirable, and as though my life, hopes, and dreams no longer mattered. To read more about my process and journey, click on this link, and in the article I have a link to my About page. Although being unemployable and disabled reinforced my feeling of being that although I had applied myself academically and vocationally, I felt all dressed up with nowheres to go. All dressed up with nowhere to go because I was unemployable and societally stigmatized as disabled. Although I could have given up on my hopes and dreams of using my gifts, talents, and abilities, I am glad that I did not give up on my hopes and dreams. Although finding a way to follow my hopes and dreams took another 7 years, I am glad that I did not give up on my hopes and dreams. And to read more about my process of discovery, click on a 2-part article series that I have on or in my article here, Backstory of Second Chance to Live, Part 1, and Backstory of Second Chance to Live, Part 2. And I'll include a link to my article in the description portion of the YouTube video. I share my About page and the 2 parts of my backstory with you to encourage you to not give up on your process. More will be revealed to you with time, as more is continuing to be revealed to me. The pieces of the puzzle will come together in the right order and at the right time. Hopes and dreams don't die. As a result, we may find ourselves wanting to give up on our lives, hopes, and dreams. But the reality is that our hopes and dreams do not have to die. And here are several quotes that I really like. Dreams do not vanish so long as people do not abandon them, by Phantom F. Harlock. Self-pity gets you nowhere. One must have the adventurous daring to accept oneself as a bundle of possibilities and undertake the most interesting game in the world, Making the Most of One's Best by Richard Willard Armour. Another quote, Change has considerable psychological impact on the human mind. To the fearful, it is threatening because it means that things may get worse. To the hopeful, it is encouraging because things may get better. To the confident, it is inspiring because the challenge exists to make things better. And that's by King Whitney Jr. Another quote, life is not easy for any of us, but what of that? We must have perseverance and above all confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing must be attained. And that's by Marie Curie. Finding a way. As our brain injuries change the way we go about living our lives, so we can go about living our hopes and dreams in a new way, in a way that will work for us. But finding the way that works for us may take time, lots of time, but don't give up on the process. And here's several quotes that I really like along these lines. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Every strike brings me closer to the next home run. Babe Ruth, home run leader for many years, also the strikeout leader for many years. Don't think of it as failures. Think of it as time-released success by Robert Owen. And the next quote, through perseverance, many people win success out of what seemed to be certain failure by Benjamin Disraeli. Taking a different form. Although we may no longer be able to do something well, we can do other things well. Our hopes and dreams no longer have to be out of our reach. Instead, they can take on a different form. And here are several quotes that I like. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And I will not let what I cannot do interfere with what I can do by Helen Keller. There are so many possibilities in life that the loss of 2 or 3 capabilities is not necessarily debilitating. A handicap may give you the opportunity to focus on more art, writing, or music. If you go to work on your goals will work for you. If you work your plan will go to work for you. Whatever good things we build, and us building us. By Jim Rohn. Whatever. And we may say to ourselves, I just don't have the whatever to be able to accomplish my hopes and dreams because of my brain injury. And here's several quotes that I like. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good that we oft may win by fear attempt, by William Shakespeare. Another quote, people of mediocre ability sometimes achieve outstanding success because they don't know when to quit. Most men succeed because they are determined to. And that's by George Allen Sr. And another quote, take control of your destiny. Believe in yourself. Ignore those who try to discourage you. Avoid negative sources, people, places, things, and habits. Don't give up and don't give in by Wanda Carter. Not giving up. You and I may have been seduced into believing that we need to accept what we cannot do. Such a belief may leave us believing that we are victims of our circumstances, trapped by our circumstances to go no further with our lives. Here's several quotes that I really like. When one door of happiness closes, another door opens, but often we look so long at the door that is closed that we do not see the one that is open for us. And that's by Helen Keller. Our circumstances are not meant to keep us down, but they are meant to build us up. That's by me, Craig J. Phillips, MRCBA. Next quote, everyone is trying to accomplish something big, not realizing that life is made up of little things. And that's by Frank A. Clark. The next quote, history has demonstrated that the most notable winners usually encountered heartbreaking success before they triumphed. They won because they refused to be discouraged by their defeats. That's B.C. Forbes. Told it wouldn't work. You and I may have people in our lives that tell us that trying something new just won't work, that we are simply wasting our time. Do what you love. Know your own bone. Gnaw at it, bury it, unearth it, and gnaw at it still, by Henry David Thoreau. Next quote, I was told over and over again that I would never be successful, that I was not going to be competitive, and the technique was simply not going to work. All I could do was shrug and say, we'll have to wait and see. That's by Dick Fosbury, the winner of the gold medal at the 1968 Mexico Games, and also the revolutionary inventor of the Fosbury flip high jump technique. Overcoming a fear of failure. Excuse me. And many of us may have a fear of failure, a fear of failure that holds us captive. But the reality is that we don't have to do things perfectly to move forward. Instead, we can build our hopes and dreams a little at a time, and we can do one brick at a time. Here's the quotes that I like. Regardless of your lot in life, you can build something beautiful on it, by Zig Ziglar. Sow an act, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. Ralph Waldo Emerson. If you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams and endeavor to live the life that you have imagined, you will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Henry David Thoreau. The next quote, slow and steady wins the race, by Robert Lloyd. And stay focused and committed. We may have people in our lives who may discourage us from following our hopes and dreams. You may have been told that you're unemployable, or find yourself societally stigmatized for being disabled, as I have. But don't let your hopes and dreams vanish. And here's the final set of quotes. Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambition. Small people always do that. But the really great make you feel you too can become great, by Mark Twain. If you are able to be yourself, then you have no competition. All you have to do is get closer to that essence, by Barbara Cook. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows that in the end, the triumph of the high, who knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at the least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. And that's by Theodore Roosevelt. And the last quote, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. But the only thing you cannot do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. And that's by Steve Jobs. This is the end of the article, and video presentation. Again, I want to thank you for your time. Before I go, let me encourage you with this. Please do not give up on yourself, a loving God, or your process, because more will be revealed to you and to me with time. The pieces of the puzzle will come together in the correct order at the right time. I'll say so long for now. Have a great day, and God bless both you and your family. Thank you. So long now.